Hi, Facebook! I'm Freddie Campion from GQ. This is Boyd Holbrook and Pedro Pascal from the TV show Narcos. And we're here with a wonderful studio audience. Taking questions. We would like to take your questions. If you have any questions about the TV show Narcos, please send them in to us now. We're going to try and answer them. We're going to try and answer a couple of questions here, and I'll ask a few questions of you guys yourselves, definitely. How are you guys doing, by the way?
I'm doing really good. We've got to know everyone in the room since you guys took so long to come in on Facebook.
Yeah.
We're in an amazing apartment in downtown Manhattan in the financial district. It's unbelievable, and I want to know who lives here.
Yeah. We're basically in a Bond villain's lair. That's what it feels like.
Yeah.
Oh no, this would be Bruce Wayne's apartment, I feel.
Yeah, in the financial district.
Only Bruce Wayne would have 3 clocks instead of just one giant clock on the wall, which you can't see because you're over there, Facebook.
And none of them are functional.
Yeah, exactly. So I have basically, my first question I want to ask you guys is a question I've been dying to know since I first started watching it. How would you guys describe the aesthetic of Narcos in maybe 3 words? What would be the best way that you guys could describe it?
Far more articulate than I am.
Docu-drama.
Break it down in syllables. Yeah, I mean...
If you make draw a word and ma a word, it would be docudrama.
Docudrama, right.
Or we could make it 2 words and call it a docudrama.
I think
or is docudrama 1 word? Oh my God!
This is the thing about live streaming something on the internet. If we don't know if it's a word or not, they will tell us very quickly. Right now, beneath this,
cyberbullying needs to stop.
Yeah.
So, really, you want to just limit it to 3 words?
I was talking more about the aesthetic, like the look of the show, maybe.
I have more than 3 words to say about the look of the show.
Oh well, do you know what? Let's just tear down the barriers. Tell me in as many words as you possibly can how you describe the aesthetic of the show.
Well, I would call it very authentic.
Right.
We shoot the whole show in Colombia. The aesthetic structure of the show uses a lot of archival footage, real documented newsreels, and photographs, articles of everything that actually took place alongside everything that we are shooting, and we're shooting it there. And I think that because we are there, it works with all of the real stuff that we're using.
Right.
Yeah.
It fits in perfectly as an aesthetic structure. And to capture the environment, I think, is what makes it the visual experience that it is. And the visual experience that it is really sort of, in a way, the star of the show as well.
Right.
Well, I mean, I say that not much has changed in sort of, you know, you don't really have to dress a ton of actors. You know, you don't have to do it a time, like, spend bukus of money of lining up extras to look at the time period. I mean, it's just sort of that still going.
It's a very cinematic country, you know, and Bogota is a
so
very
much
beautiful city that we have shot in every single corner of. I have seen more of Bogota than many people that we have seen more of Bogota than people that were born and raised there, because we're shooting all over that place, and other cities as well: Medellin, Santa Marta, Villavicencio, and that's very much, I think, what makes the show work. I think it's dominantly what makes the show work, outside of an incredible, unbelievable performance by Wagner Mauda playing Escobar.
Yeah,
absolutely.
A not so shabby performance by Boyd Holbrook.
Yeah.
Pedro, Pascal.
And a mustache.
Is that a mustache?
But we all have mustaches, so I don't really stand out.
I was so tempted to have a mustache when I showed up tonight, just because I feel like mustaches secretly are the secret co-star of the show in many ways.
Oh, absolutely. I would say it should be called mustachos instead of narcos.
Did you know
nachos, mustachios?
On Pedro, did you know that on your IMDb page it says known for? There's a little substring that says known for, and it just says mustache.
Really?
That actually is that's actually like one of your trademarks in the acting world.
I don't even grow a very good mustache. I got stuck with this thing. It's really funny. I'm so scared if I get rid of it, I won't get a job.
Oh yeah, really?
Or go through puberty.
Did you grow the mustache and then work started coming? Is that kind of like what happened?
This is very interesting. I was doing a play in New York when I got the offer, and in the play they asked us to grow out our facial hair, and so I ended up meeting our showrunner after the play,
Right.
and having a drink with him. And before we ever started the show, and then I got like a message from the casting director of Narcos saying, "Keep the stash. Keep growing the stash." And so
It's Movember.
Yeah.
All months.
So then that's how that happened, isn't that?
Yeah.
Fascinating.
That's kind of interesting. Why don't we, since we have this live audience here, can we ask some questions of the live audience? This gentleman has hand up straight away, so
good
go.
mustache.
So how do you get in character for the role, and what do you feel about the characters? Because season 1, you see a lot of pros and cons. So as an audience, we're trying to figure out if we like them or don't like them. So let's
With Pablo, like him or don't like him? Or
Us.
us? Yeah, I mean, I've said this, I've repeated myself probably 50 times. I'm the furthest thing away from a cop, and probably you as well. So you get a little paranoid about what's, to get to that side. So me and Pedro got to go to Quantico. We talked about this a lot. Go through scenarios, raids, shooting bullets at each other, dying in scenarios, seeing taping techniques, seeing how you can die in a second. I mean, it's a real deal at Quantico. It's where everyone really
We trained
trains.
for a week. We met our real counterparts, Javier Pena and Steve Murphy. It was really Boyd's idea. As far as I was concerned, I didn't really want to go. I was like, no, that's scary. And,
you get to go, and these guys are like royalty, so they got us in, and
they're kind of like rock
and that
stars
week
in the
kind of
DEA.
that week summed it up of how legit these guys are. You can sort of daydream about it as much as you want, but it's just that simple. So we just did that, and I think for me it was really enough, man.
Was there something that you had the character in mind, you met the real life character, and then you decided to pick
for
up?
me, I think all actors, we work on the script a lot. I have a dear friend, the audience, Terry Knickerbocker, that I work with constantly on everything. That you look at your work and you sort of try to plan it out as much as possible, and then on the day is a totally different thing. So, getting the foundation, what we're sort of all based on as actors, I think, looking at how we can make this interesting,
Right.
and then the real life, and then on the day, it all kind of goes into the equation, I think.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Okay, cool. And other questions I saw in this gentleman with the blonde hair.
Talking about like shooting on location and using locals as extras, like how receptive have people been to you guys shooting this show there? What's the general?
Yeah.
I mean, they're amazing. I'm not going to lie. You tell somebody, especially in our first season, people see that you're shooting something and they ask you what it is, and you tell them, and they're like, "Really?" They're like, "Oh, that's right."
Yeah, it's like
What a shock, But the show came out, because I think they're tired of being associated. There's so much more to Colombia than drug trafficking. You have no idea, And I think that they're a bit weird, they're worn out by the association. But the show committed itself so completely to providing so many authentic perspectives, and also made the physical landscape really very much the star of the show as well as Wagner.
Yeah.
And so regardless, their participation, and I think that this is something that is unique to Colombian culture, they are unbelievably supportive. In Medellin, there's this big crowd scene in the first season that production was not prepared to shoot, really, actually. And they rallied all of these people and then had just this massive audience of a crowd for Escobar to make one of his first political speeches to his community. And they were able to do that in minutes, So that the people, we wouldn't be able to do it if it weren't for the support and participation of the locals. Yep. They are unbelievable, unlike any place I've ever seen.
Yeah, because it's I don't know, the kind of thing writes itself. You have a guy who's giving a speech in this situation who is given plumbing, roofing, shelter for people who don't have that. It is a godlike send. So
how much about that side of Pablo Escobar did you guys know going into it? Like, did you know there was that other side of it too?
Nothing really. I mean, I knew the face.
Yeah, I knew him more as sort of, I think, a villain in people's memory. And knew about as much of him as your general person, which is to say not very much. And so I remember going to Colombia when I was a kid, actually, with my family, because my father's a doctor. He had a medical associate in Bogota, and he was 89, and we got driven around with bodyguards, with his family, and his kids. I was like
armored cars are still very. Actually, there's a weird thing. If you have it, so you can. If you have a license plate, you can only. There's so many. It's like New York City, cut in half.
Pico y placa.
Yeah, it's insane. So
to avoid traffic and smog.
So if you have a certain, like an odd number on your car, you can drive them Tuesday and Thursdays. If you have an even number, it's Monday, Tuesday, Monday, Wednesday, Friday.
Yeah.
But if you have an armored car, you can drive any day of the week.
Any day of the week, yeah. And it's funny too because people with money ended up buying 2-3 cars to get away with this. So I think the traffic got worse.
Absolutely.
That's insane. Do people still have armored cars?
Absolutely.
I think so many were bought.
Right.
This really wasn't very long ago.
Right.
It's like a decade, yeah.
I don't feel they're necessary while I'm there. I do not feel unsafe. I'm pretty boring, so I don't look for very much trouble, but I'm walking around on my own every day. I'm there during the day, and I don't feel it any different than anywhere I've ever been. And so I wouldn't say that...
Did you guys go to the Bronx at 4 a.m.? Okay. You do it, you do it, you don't do it, you do.
Yeah, that's a good way to describe it.
Are you guys from the Bronx? I mean, no offense.
I'm from the Bronx. This is a Bronx accent.
It's a Bronx accent. It's very heavy.
Certain shit you don't do in certain cities, right?
Yeah.
It's common sense.
Going back for the second season, were you being recognized in the street by the locals? Was that something that you guys were sort of seeing a lot of?
We should not be in an airport together.
You and I?
Yeah.
I know.
With mustaches.
Remember?
Or, I got a really good story.
And we got recognized. Guy freaked out, actually.
Pedro and I...
and then he was on the same flight, and he...
Pedro and I went...
And he's here tonight, everyone.
Pedro and I went to a sauna. I kind of, I owed Pedro... a dear...
Our spa trip?
Yeah. I owed Pedro...
Boyd got me a spa trip, because he felt bad, because he was mean to me on set.
I was. It's totally true.
So he's like, let's go to a spa with our mustaches.
So we're sitting like sweating, and there's a lot of people in the spa, and like I look over and Pedro's like, oh man, oh dude.
Where is this going?
Anyways, we had a spa day together. But we looked at,
we were not yet recognized though. They just
glistening.
thought it was a couple with mustaches in the steam room.
Yeah, Murphy and Pena didn't go to many spas together while they were trying to catch Pablo Escobar.
Who knows?
I bet they didn't.
Yeah.
You met it worked though. The girls were like, it was a co-ed day, and you got his phone number.
I was like, hey guys, hey.
He's not my boyfriend. He's just my friend.
This guy's so uncomfortable.
So, any other questions from the floor? Well, we've got this lady here with the blonde hair.
Other than spas, what would you guys do in your downtown in Colombia?
Oh, that's a good question. So, how did you
watch
cut loose?
Netflix?
How much weed?
Not enough.
No. Never enough.
Is the Russian spa attendant first?
What?
Is the Russian spa attendant first?
I don't know.
There is a Russian
First Avenue.
There is a Russian spa on
No,
10th Street in First
In New
Avenue.
York.
Yeah.
I prefer this area. There's one down
I've been to that one a lot.
This is unfortunately not very relatable for the Netflix audience, but the Tribeca Aria Spa is really... This is great.
Other questions?
Welcome back to Spa Chat with GQ.
Pause one. We'll go next one, Chris.
We can take a question from Facebook. Would you guys like to take a question from
Sure,
Facebook?
man.
This is not necessarily Netflix related, but a lot of people are asking where your suits are from, which is a very GQ question. Do you guys happen to know where your suits are from?
This is a
Anthony
lover.
asked that question. Hello, Anthony.
My suit is Xenia.
I got a loner. Yeah, I got a Valentino loner.
Yes.
I will probably have to give mine back as well.
I really appreciate it. Keep this. I mean,
if the people of Valentino are watching,
Valentino.
I'm so glad they asked about the suit,
yeah.
actually.
If you
like
are
my
just
suit.
joining us on Facebook, we are currently sitting here with Boyd Holbrook and Pedro Pascal from the Netflix show Narcos. You've missed some wonderful conversation about spas, but we're taking more questions, so please put them in the comments below and we will hopefully answer them. Pedro, we have another question here from a guy called Stephen who wants to know how you get your stash looking as good as it looks. Do you have any stash tips potentially?
Beaver wax?
Do I have any stash tips? Have a makeup artist color it in.
That's a pretty good one. I've contemplated dyeing my beard black.
Really?
Just to see if it makes me look more dangerous. I don't know, it doesn't fill in properly.
Black, I think, would be a little too
You
extreme.
got a little ginger there.
I know, it's the sun that
You're
does
exotic.
it. I've often been described as exotic. That happens a lot. Yeah, that happens a lot.
I am not the dumbest person in the room.
Are you from England?
I am from England, yes.
So ginger isn't necessarily. It's first of all, it's sort of like a word you're not supposed to use there, right?
Ginger?
They don't like it.
It's to our ginger Facebook followers. We love you.
Answer the
all.
question.
And we think you're wonderful.
We love you. Yeah.
I've heard-
the
I've
English
heard
thing. Ginger is a beloved word in the U.S.
It makes
right?
many
Isn't
people
it?
uncomfortable. So
If you ever identify somebody as ginger, it's because you think they're yummy.
Yes.
And ginger.
We have a question here from Jose, who asked, "What was the most difficult? What was the most difficult things filming, either in this season or the previous season? Did you guys have any like major hairy moments?
Just a couple a day.
A couple
the
of
first
days.
season was like 6 days a week,
Yeah.
14-hour days.
Yeah. Yeah, but you
we
worked
were
a lot more than I did. Dude.
We were totally like pioneering Colombia. In Colombia, I think they had *Romancing the Stone*, greatest movie ever made. You know, and that was a big movie for them, like in the '90s. But you know, we were we were pioneering in.
You know when *Romancing the Stone* was out, but you didn't know when Escobar died.
He's old.
So the second season for us was way easier. The first season was I was surprised that it's been received this well, because we came off of it just worn out, just exhausted. I was done. I was totally like spent.
Yeah, I mean, to answer Jose's question from my end, the fact that we are all in real locations 90% of the time, it really is sort of a day-to-day adventure. I mean,
It's
even
crazy.
in the second season, because things, you can't predict what's going to happen. You can't predict if people are going to participate. You can't predict if there's going to be interference. And for the most part, we get away with it. But it does feel like we are getting away with something.
But you're
There's a
doing
very
you're doing some
edgy,
kind of
independent
battle
film
every day.
kind of vibe.
Right.
You're battling something every day.
Without giving too much away, was there something this season that maybe sort of like was the really tricky set piece, or the thing that sort of wore you out the most?
I swear to God, it's every day, man.
There were some, for some reason, more so than the first season. There's this great chase scene in the first season, and there's a couple more. You see one in the first episode that I'm involved in, and there are more chase scenes. And these are extremely, even if they end up using only a few seconds of footage. It wasn't a few seconds of shooting, and these were in the real comunas. You can't fake that at all. And my back felt it, and just like scaling real walls, running on real rooftops.
These are houses that are built, I don't know if people have been to Brazil. Favelas are more commonly known, I think, but it's the same exact thing. But people build their own houses, they make their own plumbing, they make their own life. It's a maze. These things can travel up a mile from one house to another. It's insane.
Yeah, and they let us shoot there, and that's it. All we got away with it. It went well.
Yeah.
So I can't. There are no sort of tragic stories to share.
So do we have anyone else anyone else here who would like to ask another question while we have people? Doesn't look.
CPR.
It's specific.
Is it about spas?
Yeah, it's Boyd Holbrook.
What's up,
Hey,
Chris?
Boyd, how you doing, man?
Good, sir.
Good. You've taken a lot of roles. You've taken Skeleton Twins, and Terrence Malick. You mentioned a really great coach, Terry Knickerbocker.
Yes, I did.
One of the best from the Asper
Yep.
Studio. What was so challenging about being part of the Narcos experience? From your experience, not personally on the other side of law, but being on the other side of law, and saying, listen, this is how I'm going to interpret this character.
Yeah.
It's so hard to
Well,
do it the right way.
I'll be extremely honest with you. This show kind of changed my life because, any artist, any medium that you do, for an actor to go to work every day is an extreme blessing. So, and my hat's off to Pedro more so because he's so much more seasoned and, he's,
Seasoned is code for older.
Well, no, this guy's at the Labyrinth Theater Company. This guy knows what he's talking about, and we're really down there on our own. I can call Terry as much as I like, and we can work on that. But again, it's this sort of abstract equation that you're trying to figure out. And for me to go to work every day for 2 years, that really changed me and how I approach stuff. So, at the beginning of when you're trying out something, a musician or a painter or something like that, you're just kind of trying to maybe get it right. And I'll be very honest about this. Doing this experience, I actually took something and held on to it, and I'm going to hold this the way I want to. I'm going to move this the way I want to, rather than just moving through it and not trying to fuck up. And I think that, to go to work every day for 2 years for me was life-changing. It was great, and especially in a country that's so humbling as Colombia.
How about you, Pedro? Would you say the show changed your life as well?
Nope.
I feel like it changed my life to some degree.
Did it?
To some
Thank you for
degree, yeah.
saying that, because it got serious.
Only a tiny bit. We can kind of like change the mood a tiny bit if you guys want to. We discussed maybe playing a game of some kind.
Oh yeah, I heard about
So,
this. You'll be king.
Just to kind of like fill
Twister?
Yes, that's what's going to happen next. No, we're going to play paintball. No, what happens is
Can I just
basically
just do a little stretch?
you can do a little stretching. So Pablo Escobar, as we've seen in the show, has a very really extravagant lifestyle, as we'd say.
Yes.
Much like you could say the actor Nicolas Cage, who also had a very extravagant lifestyle.
fan.
We were looking at some of their purchases, and it turns out that Pablo Escobar and Nicolas Cage bought a lot of the same stuff.
Oh, God.
So we're going to play a game. First person to answer is the person who gets to answer who bought this crazy thing. Was it Pablo Escobar
So
or was
if
it
I
Nicolas
get
Cage?
more answers right than Pedro
So
does.
we're competing against each other?
No. You guys are on a team. Much like the way you took down Pablo Escobar.
Yes.
First,
All right, there we go.
whoever decides it first. Okay, I'll come out straight away. Who bought it? Pablo Escobar or Nicolas Cage? A pet octopus.
Nicolas Cage.
That is correct. It was Nicolas Cage.
Too lowbrow.
I would buy
Too lowbrow for Pablo.
I would buy an octopus. So
Did you know that beforehand, or was that just a guess?
I didn't, but I love octopus and Nicolas Cage and I are basically the same person.
Eats it all the time.
What about 4 hippopotamuses?
That would be
Pablo.
Pablo Escobar. Do you guys know that story
Yes.
right now about the fact?
So
that they were running
all of
wild and
his-
eating
all
people?
of his, no, well, actually they are. All of his exotic zoo was released, and so his hippopotamus that he bought were exactly perfect for the conditions of Colombia, and they started reproducing, and now there's a very bad population of hippopotamuses in Colombia.
They're like an invasive species in Colombia.
And apparently they're very vicious.
Yeah.
Vicious animals. Very dangerous.
I would think so. I would think so. Okay, how about this? A meteor.
Nicolas
A
Cage.
meteor?
Yeah.
Nicolas Cage.
Nicolas Cage.
Okay. Did you know that beforehand, or was that just
I just know my man.
You guys are really deep inside. I think.
Come on, we're only 3 in.
Okay. All right. A giant dollhouse.
No, Nicolas Cage.
Nicolas Cage?
Wrong. That was Pablo Escobar.
For his kid.
Yeah,
For
but
his
you,
kid.
all right. You'll get. I'll give you
That's
another
what I was-
chance. Can you tell me where Pablo Escobar had a giant dollhouse?
in his
In
hacienda?
Colombia?
Yeah, definitely in Colombia. We're getting more. Can you tell us where he kept it?
In Nápoles or in jail?
It was in jail, in the cathedral. He had a giant dollhouse in his massive private prison.
There you are.
Gotcha.
The smartest.
Okay.
Massive dollhouse. I wonder what that was for.
Who had it? Nicolas Cage or Pablo Escobar? A one-man hovercraft.
What?
A one-man hovercraft.
Nicolas Cage.
Nicolas Cage.
No, that was Pablo Escobar.
We were doing so well.
Oh, hovercraft. What is it? I mean, that's not even like that's Michael Fox. Like, was it Michael J. Fox?
Michael J. Fox?
Yeah, the
Oh, like in
hovercraft.
Back to the Future?
Yeah.
That was a film.
That was a DeLorean that he turned into a,
No, the
a
fucking
time
sorry,
traveling DeLorean.
the bulldog that he takes. Whatever. Doesn't matter.
Pablo Escobar had one, apparently. Okay, a 67-million-year-old dinosaur skull.
Nicolas Cage.
Pablo. I'm gonna go Pablo on that.
That was Nicolas Cage. We don't.
Get out.
You're just giving up for the evening.
Nicolas Cage is waiting for you.
Okay, how about this one?
Nicolas Cage.
A pair of submarines.
Pablo.
Pablo Escobar.
That was Pablo. Do you know what he did with them?
Yeah, he tried to
Transported
transport
cocaine?
Yeah. A Gulfstream jet.
Pablo
Just the way you
Escobar.
ask it, Nicolas Cage.
Oh, what makes you say that?
Just answer the question.
Yeah, it was Nicolas Cage.
Good job. You're psychologically reading
Pablo
them.
Escobar, can you tell me what kind of plane he had?
No, doesn't matter. Not a question.
All right. An island in the Bahamas.
That's Nicolas Cage, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, Pablo
I'm reading you,
Pablo
bro.
Escobar would
I
have-
think I've lost my poker face. I'm actually going to rip off my mask and I'm Nicolas Cage.
There's a small movie called Face Off.
That's very true.
Good reference.
Okay, we'll finish off. We'll finish off with one last one.
He's going to rip it off and it's going to be Nicolas Cage, and then he's going to rip that off and it's going to be John Travolta, and then he's going to rip it off and it's going to be
Pablo Escobar.
Escobar's brother. And
All right, last one. A 9-foot pyramid.
a 9-foot
A 9-foot pyramid.
actual pyramid?
Yeah.
What do you mean?
Who had one? Nicolas Cage or Pablo Escobar?
Pablo.
This is the last question, by the
But
way.
can I get but it's
It's so tacky, Pablo Escobar.
Pablo Escobar.
Yeah, give it to me. I know
But what
it
are we
is.
talking about? Like an art? Is this an artifact or just a 9-foot built pyramid?
9-foot
built it.
pyramid.
Come on.
It was Nicolas Cage.
I was going to say Nicolas Cage. I really was.
You've been watching. This has been
promise.
Boyd Holbrook, Pablo, and Pedro Pascal. I've been Freddie Campion.
No,
Thank you very
Pablo
much for
Escobar.
watching.